G'day, you beautiful, awesome people, and welcome back to YuGiOh Duelist of the Roses post-game. We're finally here, folks, although I will put quotation marks around post-game because this game technically doesn't have any post-game besides going through and collecting all the cards from like the different duelists with the slot machine and then getting all the special cards, yada yada yada. That's kind of boring. I don't want to do that, although I will be doing guides, so yeah, we will be kind of covering that. But for the meantime, we are going to be doing something different thanks to a guy by the name of That Generic Scientist, and then was then further demonstrated by an Australian speedrunner for this game by the name of Clover Senpai, who covers a whole bunch of things for YuGiOh Duelists of the Roses. We are doing custom theme duels, or custom duels, using the AI that's replacing the usual Deckmaster K, I think it is, or T, or whatever usually pops up. So at the end of the last episode, I went through and showed off the custom duel shenanigans that you can do. Normally, it goes through and just copies the same deck that you're using at the time, aka the Deckmaster K would be using Red Eyes Black Dragon deck, which is the theme deck I'm going to be using in this particular episode. But thanks to this code with the use of action replay, or codebreaker in my case, which, disclaimer, all of these will be using like codebreaker or action replay to modify cards to their max rank, as well as every card in the game. So that is full disclaimer there, but when it comes to guides and all that, that'll be using my other PS2, which is we did the campaign on. This, I'm actually using a completely different PS2. This is my American PS2 to allow myself to do this. What was I saying? So yeah, I've got 3 decks that I'm going to let the Red Eyes Black Dragon deck use. So for all 3 AI, I'm going to be using the Red Eyes Black Dragon deck and showing that off with some shenanigans that I've come up with there, just focusing completely on the Red Eyes Black Dragon card. At the moment, for the first duel, we'll go up against Weavil's AI, so I've gone through and made a Weavil deck to hopefully complement the AI. It may or may not work, just depending on, you know, if the kinks and bumps are hammered out properly thanks to RNG, that may not work. I've also gone through as well and made some custom maps. Again, not sure if they're going to complement the AI. Some maps don't work, I've noticed, during my testing. And then after that, we're going to be versus 2 AIs as well. So hopefully, the way I've set this up, it should go up in difficulty. Weavil might be the easiest. It might actually be the hardest, just depending on, as I said, RNG and if the decks want to complement the AI. So obviously, as the series goes on, I get more familiar with the AI and how they work. All those kinks and bumps should be all hammered out and fine-tuned to where the later episodes should run very smoothly. So, for those of you who want to suggest a theme deck of some sorts, whether it be, as I said, at the moment it's Red Eyes Black Dragon, you could suggest something like a Dark Magician deck, or a, what other one, Blue Eyes White Dragon, you know, those type of theme decks that you want to see be used. That perk is available to the channel members of this, so if you want to become a channel member, make sure to hit the join button down below. It's as cheap as $2 a month, I do believe, and there's a whole bunch of different tiers and all that. Not only do you get the perk to choose theme decks as well, you also get these episodes early and access to a Discord channel as well. So I think that's all the dribble I've got to do. If you like the idea of the custom duels, leave a like for me and leave a comment down below. Suggesting also feedback on all that for the series and other ways of like improving it. And without further ado, let's go through and start this shenanigans. Alright, so for Weavil, I've actually made a map, and surprisingly, it actually works pretty well for Weavil. So, as I said, this episode was meant to go up yesterday, but unfortunately, just before I went to record, my memory card corrupted, because unfortunately when you work with Action Replay or Codebreaker, there is a slight chance of your memory cards, or memory being corrupted, or save file in this case. And unfortunately that happened just before I went to record. Not the greatest of hands either. So I had to go through and like remake everything that I did, so hopefully I've remade everything correctly. If not, then we're going to be in for some shenanigans. So Weavil is going for a normal summon there. No equips. Oh no, I know what card that is. So it doesn't matter if I put equip cards or whatnot on this card, it's not going to matter. And I've got nothing for it at the moment. There's not much I can really do except throw down a Typhoon 2 and just defend my ass at the moment. This could be a very quick duel at this rate. Unfortunately, I've kind of built my deck a little unbalanced because I was trying to use only just Red Eyes cards, and I didn't want to use like the actual fully used cards, aka like Black... Oh, I didn't put the abbreviations on. let me fix that. I was meant to turn display the battles on. Mountain that can help, kinda. That will slow down Weevil's cards. Alright, gonna throw that up. They'll give me a field advantage as well. Although at the moment, with no cards to use, I can't really do much. But the big spider thing there, the Duro card, it doesn't negate terrain boost, so its main effect, for those who weren't aware, was when it attacks, it cancels all power increase or decrease of an enemy monster in battle, does not cancel bonus effects such as terrain or leader ability, and then movement decreases life points by 100 points for each movement, each space moved. So Weevil's already lost 100 because he's done one movement. Huzzah! The problem is though, I don't know. I know it takes dragon treasures, but I don't know if it takes one of the unicorn. Because I have screwed that up a couple of times where we go into Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon. I can easily correct that in the next turn. It doesn't even take dragon treasures. Huzzah, my bum. You'd think... Oh no, it's technically a machine monster, isn't it? Oh, peace. I've rarely had the chance to use Black Metal Dragon, and the one chance I did get to use it, I throw it in the bin. Oh look, there's Black Summon Skull. Well, that was just because of my idiocy there. Alright, power increase, power increase. Alright, stalled out a little bit, another 100 life points there. I'm just kind of stalling at this point just to hope I quickly draw another card I can use. Preferably like another Red Eyes would be great. Shadow Spell, that helps. I'm still in the mountain terrain, so I do beat that in defense, which is good. It's just this card I'm more worried about. Alright, that's going to go for attack. It's going to fail. It won't cancel out my effect, though, because it's obviously terrain boosted. So I'm going to just defend there for a quick second. Alright, I don't think we've actually seen this card fight. Oh, I might have actually, when we did the Labyrinth Roller. Alright, that's going to fail. We're just going to do a rapid spin and get out of that spider web, which is good. And 300 life point damage as well, dealt to Weevil. Oh, he's going to back off there. Nice. So whatever that was, could not take down Meteor Dragon. Oh, great. Goblins. Secret Remedy. I knew that would bite me in the ass when I put that in the deck. Got another Meteor Dragon. Kinda doesn't help. What I could do, since YuGiOh doesn't get past me, YuGiOh Jumo, I can easily just block that in, and then I can just hide behind my 2 Meteor Dragons, although those power-ups are a little bit scary. Alright, I've got to back off, take away 100 life points. And just to think, if I didn't screw up the Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, I'd be absolutely fine at the moment. There's nothing coming that way, unless that card makes a routine turn to the right there, or to the left for Weevil's case. I might need to move someone's skull over. Alright, another power increase. Okay, Weevil's doing very well at the moment. There is one card I'm very scared of because I've got nothing on the field at the moment, and I've got a feeling that card might be it. I might need to move my Shadow Spell over just, you know, just a wee little bit. Just in case it's the card I think it is. And then move that there. Alright, there's a Shadow Spell protecting both the Meteor Dragons. I was hoping you'd not do that. That went into defense mode, interesting. Right, well, Weavol's on the full assault here. I have to draw my cards sooner or later. Okay, I'll just throw that down, whatever's. Not much I can do at this point. Still a bit embarrassing, I screwed up the Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. It has dragon in its name, how come I can't take dragon treasures? I'm still so confused. Oh well, what is done is done. Oh god. Up to 5,200 life points. Well, I'm nearly halfway through my deck, so wow. Okay, I'm gonna be full on in defense now. Should I put this... It's 23. If that bangs into that, that's still some life point damage and it gets destroyed. The only card I'm worried about is both these Great Moss and one other card. Okay, unfortunately you just overcome that one just because of its sheer attack power anyways, or it's been powered up. I think it's been powered up by twice, because normally that has like 2,000 attack. So it's been powered up once. Alright, there goes one of my Meteor Dragons. Not good. Might need to start moving Summon Skull into position. That will hold it off. I only just lost that too. And again, the way he's been throwing out equip cards, it's probably no surprise that I lost there. I've got no life point recovery in my deck either, so that's the thing. Oh my lord, this is not good. This is not good at all. I'm trying to hold back like so many cards at the moment. Alright, YuGiOh gets unspellbound this turn, I do believe. This is coming at me pretty fast though, this Hercules Beetle. Ooh, a little bit of lag there. AI thinking very hard then. Oh, come on, this is really bad. Insect, I've totally forgotten it's a decrease on. No idea, or I could just use my dark energy there just to save me. Oh! That's not going anywhere. That's a tie. I generally thought he'd go for the Summoned Skull, but he went for the Meteor Dragon instead. I guess feeling more confident going for my defense monster. Well, that's not gonna work. Meteor Dragon's gonna withstand that. For a draw as well, so no life point damage, but next turn he will go for my Summoned Skull. That's under the assumption I know how this AI works, which I might not, so... That went into defense, that's not moving anywhere, a little bit of lag again. Then again, there's so many cards on the field at the moment. I've got 6, I think Weavol's at max. I'm still not getting the card I want though. I can do Horn of the Unicorn and Summoned Skull, but as I said, I really just want to use Red Eyes. So I can't attack with Summoned Skull, but I can use Summoned Skull obviously to like defend my life points. But that's about it. That's one of the rules I wanted to really stick by with this. He's not moving, interesting. I'm so sorry about the lag too, as I said, the game's kind of struggling at the moment to like withstand how many cards are on the oh god. Just move that down for now. Hopefully with Solomon's Law book, which allows me to draw again, I get a Red Eyes. I got Metal Morph. Let's go throw that down. I'm gonna get rid of Metal Morph actually. Alright, not the best of RNG at the moment considering I had the perfect opportunity to win this duel. Back in what, the third turn or something like that? I'm still kicking myself for that, but we can oh finally, here we go. Alright, here we go. Alright, Black Skull Dragon. Now there is one way that he can potentially turn this around. I'm just gonna get rid of that. One less spell on the field. And get rid of this. Oh, negate attack, of course. Okay, well, no surprise he had a negate attack down. Now that gives me a fresh hand now, so there's still... Did I use the fusion last time to bring out red eyes, or did I use just the base red eyes? That's the question. Because if I use the fusion and I've got one fusion red eyes left... No, that's dead. Oh, I've got no fusions left because Typhoon number 2 died earlier. Alright, I've got no fusions left. I've lost one red eyes. And then a second red eyes. I have one red eyes left in my deck. And I drew it. Alright, well we'll use this here. And then get rid of that. Another negate attack. He doesn't want this card going, does he? Well, I might go for this one because it doesn't have any protection on it. And then go this way. Get rid of these bloody cards here. Alright, Quagga Hercules. Now, as I said, there's a good chance that his ace monster is on the field. I do have a way of getting rid of that. But the fact that I've lost my last red eyes for this deck is kind of bad. Alright, goodbye. I should have probably thrown some Monster Reborns in this deck. Alright, Meteor Dragon destroys that. Meteor Black Dragon looks so cool though in 3D. I think the artwork for the card just does not do it justice. Alright, I've got another Solomon's Law book too. I do have a backup just in case that ace monster comes out. Wow! Oh, I know what he's... Oh no! There's one of the ace monsters. He actually went for the Black Skull Dragon. I think that might be game. Because he's trying to go for my Black Skull Dragon with Gurujima to get rid of all of its power-ups, which will be bad for me. But I think this alone might have just ended the duel. No, it probably won't. It's got like 5,000 life points. Alright, Hercules Beetle finally bites the dust after 2 negate attacks prevented it from going down. 3,900 life points. Nice. Alright. Alright, I'm curious about what's behind it. Alright, I'm just going to attack into that, get rid of it. Its effect's not going to get rid of my attack. That's game. A little bit dodgy at the start there. I would have been more aggressive if I didn't screw up on the Metal Dragon. Alright, the big ugly spider just bit the dust. Awesome. Alright, is it enough to finish it? Well, it should be. That's like 2,800 damage there. Yep, that's enough to finish it. So unfortunately, Weavile actually doesn't go on the assault with his perfectly great ultimate moth, or whatever it's called. And yeah, I will get some demotions because of the fact they're on SD, and if they take one loss, they do get demoted. Alright, so that doesn't matter. I've got max chess, as I've said earlier, thanks to the fact that this is a modified game. Alright, I'm just going to do quickly one more round, just to show off Weevil's deck a little bit more. This time I'll go a little bit more aggressive. Right, opening off with actually a decent hand for once. Actually, I might go straight for that one. Alright, so Weevil's going to probably respond with a card going into movement. Yep. Ha! Straight for Jima again. Bloody hell. I've lost count how many times he's actually done that. Whoops. I'm just going to move one there because Red Eyes is deck leader ability allows him to move twice, and as well as drop. I think allow increased movement level cost reduction for summoning same type, aka dragons in this case. Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon comes out this time and not getting rid of it. I didn't boost it. I actually don't know if I can boost it with Nails of Bane. Regardless, I didn't want to because it's going to get negated by Gurujima's effect. When it goes into attack, it always does that. Even when Spellbound, its effect still goes off. Sometimes Spellbound does negate some effects, but when it comes to attack, it never negates it. Anyways, that's gone pretty quickly, which is nice. And my big metal boy pops off there. Alright, 1000 damage straight off the bat, which is nice. I'm just going to double check. It can do Nails of Bane. Alright, so if I want to get rid of some cards next turn, I can easily just do that. Although this is what I think it is, I don't think my Red Eyes is going to... Nope, it's perfectly fine. Might go Solomon's Law Book here. Sorry, I slurred my word there big time. I just had a big drink and unfortunately my tongue got a bit stuck on there. Nails of Bane again. I could very well just do Red Eyes. Or I could just do this. Just to find out what that card is. Because he... Ooh! Okay. Got a monster there that just got powered up quite a bit. Oh, Dungeon Worm. Well, that was nice. I'm glad he attacked with that. Alright, power decrease there. That had a good power up too. And the only reason why it looks pretty weak is because... Ooh, unless he did Megamorph. Megamorph and Laser Cannon. Alright. I got Meteor Dragon. So I'm probably going to do that. And then I've got to really hope that he doesn't summon another Gurujima. I can't remember how many I put in this deck. So if he summons out another one, I'm screwed. I think I'm still in attack range though. Whoops. Even with like that plus movement. Yeah, I'm in... Ooh. That's interesting. Wonder what card that is then to prevent him from doing that. Solomon's Law Book and hope I get a Summoned Skull or a Mountain. And we got Horn of the Unicorn. Actually, if I just do this, this will be game. There we go, 3200. I was going to say, unless there's negate attack on the field, but regardless, I don't think it's going to hit me. Anyways, that's game again. Unfortunately, I was hoping to see more of Weevil's deck, but that never happened. Hey, Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon got promoted back to SD. Interesting. Alright, so unfortunately we didn't get to see his Ace Monster, but there'll be plenty of times where I'll use Weevil's AI, but the card I had in there that was really worrying me was both the perfectly ultimate Great Moth as well, which in Duelists of the Roses went in defense face up, drops the opponent's monsters that are face up on the field by 100 attack points. So over time, they'll start to wear him down, very reminiscent of the original Duel Monsters series, Season 1, where YuGiOh had Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth or Great Moth, one of the two up against Guy the Dragon Champion, and you saw that Guy the Dragon Champion's attack was falling, so that's a callback to that. And the other card that was in this deck too was Assault Bug, which it has two effects. So when it attacks, it puts the 4 adjacent squares to Assault Bug into Forest, plus a square that is standing on as well. So that gives it a field terrain boost. Plus, when flipped up, if the deck master is an insect type monster, it gains a boost of 1500 attack. It's a 3-star monster. It has a base attack of 2000, which is absolutely incredible for a 3-star monster. So with a 1500 boost on top of it, and a terrain boost as well, guaranteed when it goes into a battle, it goes up to a whopping 4000 attack, which is very scary. And I've had a couple of duels where that's happened. I've had a couple of duels too where shadow spells kicked off on it, preventing the flip effect from happening, so it stays at the base 2000, spellbound and attack drop to something nice of like 1500 or something like that. Or whatever, I can't generally remember. But anyways, that's the first duel. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit because I have to go through it and type in the next code to use the next AI. So without further ado, let's just jump to that duel. Alright, we're back. So, we just did Weevil, and now the second AI is going to be a Seto AI. So, during the main campaign, Seto was one of the duelists I had a lot of issues with. And without any surprise, I'm probably going to have more issues with him this time round as well. So Seto's AI is really interesting, between like really weird pathfinding AI, which if you put a really strong monster in the center of the board, Seto's AI thinks it's blocked off. I still don't quite understand the pathfinding for this particular AI, but then he'll move his Blue Eyes White Dragon into the center, which means at that point your strong monster you've just placed in the center can go for a direct attack and deal quite a lot of damage, especially if it's a fusion monster, which most times it would be to be considered a strong monster, and deal well over 2000, nearly close to 3000 life point damage straight off the bat on turn 2 or turn 3 by that point, and then he'll just move off. So really weird pathfinding AI there. His AI also tends to go towards the top left corner, where he'll sit in a little corner of a diagonal field, and then he'll place like Royal Decree, Lord of Dragons in the very top left corner, so that way it's out of the way, it's protected, and Lord of Dale obviously protects all dragon type monsters from spell cards in this game. Royal Decree prevents any trap cards from activating, which can backfire on Seto himself or be a huge hindrance to yourself. And other than that, I think that's the only main things I have to really note about this particular AI. It just works the way it should. It likes using dragon cards. It will use Monster Reborn on Blue Eyes White Dragon. I don't think there's any cards that Seto will use Monster Reborn on. There are. When it comes to Monster Reborn as well, a lot of the AI will tend to reborn one particular monster, and that's it. It will not use Monster Reborn on any other monsters. Mai, for example, will use Monster Reborn on Happy's Pet Dragon, but that's about it. Seto likes to use Monster Reborn on Blue Eyes White Dragon, so he'll only pop that if Blue Eyes White Dragon is in the graveyard. For this time round, though, I've gone for Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as his deck leader. There's not too much difference when it comes to deck leader abilities. It's still movement for 2 squares. I think it still gives the level reduction cost, and that's about it. I think Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Red Eyes Black Dragon have very similar deck leader abilities, if not the same. Except the level drop might be a little bit more powerful, since Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is obviously higher stars. Alright, so I think that's all the dribble I've got to do there. For this map, what map did I use last time? I think we'll do this one, because it's still the diagonal shape. And, oh yeah, the other AI thing or AI perk that Seto does is he does have mountains, and he'll play mountain right smack bang in the middle of the board to try and, normally in campaign, to change all the normal terrain into mountain to give him the boost. So he will try and still do that, because mountain is in this deck of his, and mountain's also ironically in my own deck too, so we'll both be fighting to do that. But obviously this time round, I haven't put any warrior monsters in his deck, so Meadow won't be a thing. So the outside is his terrain boost, So, as I generally can't remember what map I tested him on, so hopefully this works. It should still work. So I'm going to boost here. And I did not get the card, or I did technically, but you know what? Let's just do this. He won't go to the center because I didn't play a monster. But now we've got a full mountain terrain, so this is going to be really interesting. This could also backfire on myself too. Alright, put a card down. Now the next question is it a magic card or is it a monster card? Now I do have Meteor Dragon available to me, so Solomon's Law Book's up next. I'm just going to see what I can draw out of that. Summon Skull would be very nice, so I can go for Black Skull Dragon. No, I got a Shadow Spell instead. Alright, let's rock with the Meteor Black Dragon instead. Alright, it's a Sky Dragon. It was a monster, so that would have kicked off its... Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn Abbreviated back on because I didn't save. My bad. The capture card just decided to die for a couple of seconds. It's back. Alright, so I'm going to remember for the third battle to just turn off Abbreviated before we actually start. Alright, Gift of the Mystical Elf. I've forgotten how many of them are through in this deck as well. He does have this normally in the campaign as well, so he's programmed to use it quite well. I'm not sure about Diane Curie, or Cura, whatever that card is called. It's like the most powerful spell, recovery spell in the game. This might be a quick duel because hasn't summoned anything. I was actually played very risky there. I just realized I'm in open attack. Ooh. I'm gonna play a shadow spell there. Is that what I think it is? No, it's another Meteor Black Dragon. Yes, I did throw a Meteor Black Dragon in his deck. Ah, I thought it was something else. Well, we've got a mirror match. I don't think I had anything to power mine up either. Well, this is bad. Well, very bad. Well, we both bite the dust. Okay, this is the first time I think in this series we get to see what a tie break is, or what a draw it is for attack. So yeah, they're both on the ground. When you think they won the match, but then you pass out at the very last second. Rip to my Meteor Black Dragon. It died to its very own. Did I have Dragon Treasures in my hand? Pretty sure I did. No, I didn't. I didn't have anything to boost it. Because, Horned Unicorn doesn't work. Yeah, the only card I could have boosted that with was Dragon Treasures, which I did not have. Alright, so Seto is going to respond by placing another card down. As I said, he's in his normal spot too, so defense position, interesting. Yeah, increased movement, level cost reduction for summoning. I might leave my trap there for now. I might just have to go in for the attack with my red eyes and hope that he doesn't summon out something powerful. Alright, I'm gonna... Oh no, I'm not actually still playing it safe. Ooh. Alright, just in case, let's put that behind me. Well, if that's a monster that's gonna go straight into my trap, which it is... Oh no, it's Royal Decree! No! Well, let's get rid of that. Right, interesting he would put Royal Decree there. Ow. Let's move up. And then put this here. That way he can't summon into me. Interesting. Unless that's a monster that can overpower me. Nope, Gift of the Mystical Elf. But still interesting because... Let's see what I got first. Oh! Damn it. I wish that was something else. Probably should have played something, shouldn't I? Oh, yeah. He's on the run. I might need to play my summon skull. I need something to slow him down. He only went one. Oh, damn it, it's a Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's why I didn't want to go into Summon Skull, because I was like, I don't know, because Behemoth only does 300 boost, or 200, it's very minor. That wouldn't have been able to take out this thing. It's got terrain boost, so 3500 attack. My Typhoon number 2 didn't stand a chance there. As I said, I would have hoped for being a Kumori Dragon, and I could have got a Red Eyes out of that. He only moved one space though, with his Deck Master, so technically I can wham into him for some damage. Ah, no. No! That's his last one though. I threw 3 of them in there. I'm insane for doing that. Oh god, that's not good. That's not good at all. Alright, well I was just gonna do some damage there. He's still gonna be able to run away from me. If I just force him to go there... Just gonna throw that there and hope I get something. He moved 2, as I thought he might. This is the first time I've actually seen Seto run like a little coward for a very long time. Alright, I think that's my last shadow spell that just got popped. Alright, Blue Eyes down to 2500. Not what I wanted to see. I do have 3 turns to try and draw something. Power increase. Ooh. This could end very... Oh, okay. Let's go. Like, this could end very well or very badly. I am not getting what I want, am I? Do I go down? Yes, I do. No! No! Not a negate attack! Well, he's not gonna move, but he's still surrounded by monsters. I got Kumori Dragon, and that's gonna be useless to me. Because the Typhoon's already gone down. I didn't attack, you dumbass. I had the perfect opportunity to ram into that and I didn't do it. I got Meteor Dragon. And the Blue Eyes is raring to go. Oh, I should have moved. Oops. He's not gonna ram into that. He's gonna go straight into my deck leader, isn't he? Alright, let's just start making a move. I probably could have had an advantage on his deck leader too. It's all gotta come down to if I can draw the right card at this point. The limitations I've made to only use Red Eyes cards is starting to kind of creep up on me now. Anyway, Sky Dragon goes rip. Goodbye, Sky Dragon. So I've lost... I'd still technically have one Typhoon left. I was like, make sure I move my Summon Skull, please. Interesting. Is he going to move that, then move his deck leader? Whoa! That has to be in the gate attack. Alright, I've got one more hit left. Oh, I'm spellbound. I didn't get what I wanted. Oh, great. Alright, I'm gonna have to start trudging through some of my spells. Unfortunately, all the spell cards I have just powers him up. That's why he didn't move. I'm spellbound. No, I'm not no more, but he will move. And he's gonna put something in my way. Alright, I'm gonna get spellbound again, because Wind Attribute. I think I may have lost this one. I'm just in a really nasty situation up top. Unless, of course, I draw Red Eyes this turn. Anyways, Twin-Headed Behemoth is gone. But I think its effect allows it to resummon itself in the summoning area of the opponent, or whoever summoned it, but with half the attack. Nope. What was it? I swear that was its effect. Oh. No, that didn't have its effect in this game. I'm thinking the anime, ain't I? Nope, not a single card there that could help me. Well, I'm starting to get down on cards. Unfortunately, it's also a ticking time bomb too with that. Interesting, he went away from me. There is obviously, like, with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as he's being a deck leader, then yeah, I think you might know what's coming up. I got Solomon's Law book. This could be a saving grace if this works out well. Come on, Heart of the Cards, I believe in you! If I've already used up 3 Red Eyes and I'm believing in nothing at this point, I got Acid Trap Hold. That can help. So he'll come rushing down. My Red Eyes should be not... It's still spellbound. That was a long one turn. He's actually going for those cards? Wait, what? The AI's like gone off my ass and is now going for my other 2 defense monsters. That's so... Ooh, wow, that was so close. Luckily it's in defense mode because its defense isn't all that great, but its attack definitely is. 4400, that wasn't powered up or anything. Was it? 44? No. No. Was that boosted? I wasn't paying attention. Anyways, Inferno Fire Blast is going to take out the Meteor Dragon, its upgraded version. Only just. If that was an attack, I'd be in a little bit of trouble. Alright, that's gone. Now, he's only going to be able to move 1. Move that over. He's got 20 cards left, so I'm still a bit fearful of like what's still to come. No, he did go for that card. Alright, that's interesting. I've lost 1 fusion completely because Typhoon number 2's gone and my last, second last Kumori Dragon's gone. only put 2 in this deck. I originally did have 3, but then I had like bricks in my hand at that point. Though I've got a lot of bricks at the moment, so it really does show that this deck could be improved. Although, between Metal Morph, Meteor Dragon, and Summon Skull, and then obviously fusing to make Red Eyes, so there's 5 potential Red Eyes in this deck. 2 fusions to make Red Eyes, and then obviously 3 base Red Eyes. I guess there wasn't really much I could work with. Right, that's spellbound, a little bit of extra time. He's not moving. I won. Oh no, he's gonna move. Is he gonna summon though? What? And it has to be a trap card. That has to be a trap. No way the AI would do that. He did. He just let me win. Okay. As I said, there are times where I just don't understand the AI. Though in that position, it was just more if you had to draw a trap card or you were just screwed, like I was a bit earlier. Just put down cards and hope you can stop it. But the fact that the AI didn't put a monster in front of it was just another thing. But then again, the AI in this game can be somewhat stupid at times. Yugi is the absolute stupidest of them all. How many times I've seen him throw a fusion monster or power up a monster, then have it in the crush card right in front of his deck leader is absolutely unbelievable. Alright, so that's the second AI done. He did obviously have a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in his deck. I think I did do a relatively good job though showing that off. There was a Lord of Dragons in that deck as well. But I kind of had nothing to really affect dragon cards magic-wise anyways, so not really much of a biggie whatsoever. So I think that moves on to the last AI. Now, I will do a disclaimer before I do a jump. I'm not sure if the AI will work. The maps I kind of made, I did a test and I'm not sure if the AI is working properly or not. So it might seem a little underwhelming, but hopefully in the future episodes I will iron that out so he's a little bit more threatening. But anyways, we'll do a jump forward while I go set that up. And I'll see you guys with the power of editing in 1 microsecond. Alright, we're back with the last duel for this episode. And you would have seen earlier the last deck had Skull Knight, which means we're going to be using the Card Guardian. I cannot pronounce his name. I was like, Madafarben Waba Waba Wubba Wababa. Yeah, that's totally his name. But it's the Card Guardian with the Skull Knight, which I think was the last Guardian we took down in the last episode. If not, then it was the second episode. I can't purely remember. But I'm pretty sure it's the one I generally had the most difficult on. And while I was making this deck, I found out something really interesting. I did a bit of an overflow glitch where the deck cost is something like 12,000. It's not 2,000, trust me, it's something like 12,264. But anyways, because that was like an overflow, it went down to like 10 deck cost at like halfway making the deck, so I'm kind of curious if I go through and do that again, if I can still use this deck in campaign, and the campaign will actually think it's, you know, actually a deck cost of 10 or something like that, instead of being the whopping number that it actually is. So, as I said, I'm not sure if this AI is going to work. When I did test it, it just didn't seem to work the way I thought it was going to work. So this may be a little bit of a disappointment because it's meant to be the hardest deck. But as I said, I'll try and iron that out in the next episode or so. So I did make a few maps, but unfortunately it just doesn't seem to be working. That I need to completely redo. I don't know if the AI is actually going to work on that. It was really interesting in concept. It worked really well for a multiplayer game, but just unfortunately, or even Deckmaster K might be able to work with this, but all the other AIs just don't seem to like that map. I did do that one, didn't work, kinda worked. Obviously that's not gonna work. Again, nicely interesting concept for like Deckmaster K, but so for this one, I might try this one. It's just an open field. It did kind of work on another map. So maybe if I just do this, it might work. So fingers crossed. If not, I'll do another match just to make up for the lackluster one. Alright, so this is supposed to be the intense match that, you know, I may not actually win. The way I've been drawing cards too, there's a chance that might be the case. Oh my lord, that is not an opening hand you want to see. You hate to see it, don't you? As I said, it's not the best of decks, but as I said, oh, the capture card died again. I'm having a lovely run with my capture card tonight. That kinda helps, doesn't kinda help. You know, it does, but doesn't kinda work. I wish I went up one more. I might be able to squeeze a Meteor Dragon up here, we'll just see. And then put it in defense mode. It does have a terrain boost. Okay, summons a card. So this deck is supposed to be kind of reflective on the actual campaign deck. With a couple of... Oh. When that happens, it's... Oh. Lucky I drew a Shadow Spell, because it's like, oh. I'm in trouble. Alright, he's gonna move up. Okay. He's gonna pretend like the AI is gonna move, like there is a labyrinth all around him. Okay, that's gonna work. I've got protection 3 ways there. Right. I'm not getting what I want. Not getting what I want. Alright, well I'll throw that there. At least I can throw monsters down. That's... You know, that's the thing. I've got something to protect my behind at the moment. When I don't have anything to protect my behind and there's a whole bunch of equip cards in my hand, that's when you get a little bit worrisome. Alright, so the mountain luckily came in... Oh, lovely. I got my cards. Next turn I could summon. Before I got to... Whoa! I just thought for a second that was the cat I'd be worrying about, but it's not. Alright, well, the AI seems to be working, but I'm in trouble. Oh, come on! Oh, dear. I forgot to turn the abbreviative off. I said to remind myself, don't worry, the next time we do this, I'll make sure abbreviated ain't to be seen ever again. Display. Anyways, I am in control now, baby. Just a bit of a pain in the ass, though, that he's got Royal Decree on the field, but we'll get rid of that. Alright, 47. 52. Alright, let's see my big black skull dragon boy get rid of the Meteor Black Dragon. I love how we get to show off another Red Eyes Black Dragon monster-esque card with the opponent. This is the second time I put another Meteor Black Dragon in this deck. Although, if it was to be used by like 2 dragon users, Seto and the two card guardians sound about right to be using them. I just thought it'd be funny to throw in Meteor Black Dragon because, as I said, for Seto's AI, I just wanted him to focus on dragons. You know, he's known for using warrior-type monsters. I just thought it'd be interesting. Anyways, let's get rid of that. No more Royal Decree. I'm pretty sure I only throw 1 in because it'd be a bit overpowered if I threw 3 or 2 of them in. And he's only got 1 campaign-wise anyways. But at the moment, he's definitely going... Ooh. He's going at me full force, that's for sure. Why did he not attack there? Alright, Meteor Dragon's up there. I do have a Komori Dragon, and I could very well go... What I want to do is I want to do a bit of a chain. This should work, because if I go Komori Dragon into Typhoon, that makes Red Eyes Black Dragon. And I can move, then go into Meteor Dragon to make Red Eyes Black, Meteor Black Dragon. I don't know why I always say Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, that's definitely not what it is. He didn't move, that's... Oh, did I probably just moved it then, that could be why. If I do that... Put a bit of pressure onto him. He'll move down. That must not be a monster card. That has to be a magic card. There'd be no other reason why they'd back off. I'm gonna see what that is. And then see what these are. Nice! I just took my own life points and applied it to my Meteor Black Dragon. I so hope I don't get blasted out of the sky now. Yeah, unfortunately, when you use this... we were so lucky we never saw this in the actual playthrough. This is like the best power-up card in the game, but unfortunately if I run into it and the opponents put it down, it still takes from my own life points. So it reduces opponent's life points by half and adds that reduced amount to the power of all monsters. Wait, all monsters? Oh no, it applies to all monsters. It's like Behemoth if we've already used that. If I go, which I probably haven't used already, go figure, the one time I actually want to show off its effect, I haven't used it. So yeah, it applies to all cards. Interesting, it'd go right there. I have a feeling he doesn't have, like, I didn't put Gate Drag and all that in this deck. There is Magic Drain in this deck though. Maybe, I swear he did use Magic Drain. Oh, I've already moved that. Right, well, I guess we leave. I think the main issue with this AI is I've put so many good cards in this deck that he just doesn't have the summoning power to actually use them. I think that's going to be my main issue, so that should trap him. Alright, let's see what he should have the summoning power this turn. What was that? Was that Black Skull? He summoned his own Black Skull there. And that's game. 4,700? I think that's the main issue, is I haven't made this deck in consideration of summoning power. If, you know what, actually I'll do something for the lols. Because I think it's something I did not put into consideration when I made the deck. Because yeah, there's only Behemoth in the graveyard. Because a lot of the cards that I gave him can't be in the graveyard slots, so there are restrictions on certain cards like Blue Eyes White Dragon, Ryoku, and a couple of other cards where they won't appear in the graveyard slots, so you have to get them through either Special Get, which is where you line up 3 of the same card, or you just can't legitimately get them. So Ryoku is one card you can't get legitimately. Black Skull Dragon is a card you cannot have legitimately as a base. Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon is another one you can't have as a base. Metal Zoa. A lot of the big fusion cards, Blue Eyes White Dragon for example, you can't get as a base card as well. But because obviously, as I said, I've just cheated all the cards in so we could allow this to happen, I do have access to them so I can apply them as deck leaders and all that. But the thing I wanted to try was, if I was to set this SP recharge rate, which means I can bypass and set it so every turn the opponent gets 12 summoning power each turn. Oops, I didn't apply that. Oh no, I did. If I apply that instead, and even though the card opening says show all of the opponent's cards, because AI it actually bypasses that, I wanted to put that out there too in case people are wondering why that was happening. But if I just do this, it should show off what the AI is kind of like, and that means I've got to go through and redesign the deck with SP power in mind. I think I may have made it a little too strong. Oh, that's a very lovely hand. Don't screw this up. Because I'm gonna need some power here. If I screw this up, I'm dead. Like, I kid you not, I'm probably gonna die if I screw this up. I'll just get annihilated into the Shadow Realm. Alright, so if you got a weak heart, I suggest you look away because, as I said, this could be absolutely anything. Mountain's gonna be handy. Although it could also be handy for the opponent too. Alright, with that done, power increase, not force, which is good. He's gonna move up, though he has all... Oh, okay, interesting. Damn. I might need to use Behemoth here, just free up some room in my hand. That was nothing, what was that? Magic Drain? Why did he not use that? Oh, because he wouldn't need to, because he's always got a summoning power of 12. Oh, wait. If that doesn't attack... What? AI, what are you doing? The AI just had a moment, I think. Even with the summoning power of 12. Interesting. Unless that did not apply. Anyways, Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon there. Why did that not attack? Unless the AI has a bit of a brain and checked my graveyard. Maybe that's what happened. Anyways, that's gonna go down. I felt that heat too. My office just got really hot just then. Which means either my PC's overheating or the PS2's just letting off a lot of heat. But it's hot. Or it's just gotten really humid outside. That could be other thing too. You know what? I really don't want to end just yet because I would have assumed he would have summoned out something a lot better. So I'm just gonna see what cards he has. I should be basically on a roll at this point with like what I draw. Since I got really lucky this time and just drew all my really good cards. I just beat that, so that's Skull Knight. Which he does use, and that's actually the card that Battle Dragon took out in the last episode. It was like, oh, big sigh of relief. I actually generally think that was the turning point in that duel. That and the Cyberstein putting down Wasteland to allow me to overcome a powered up Zoa. I think it was powered up. To overcome that particular duel, but that was very nail biting for sure. Right, bit of a pop off there from my Black Skull Dragon. Skull Knight not so much, he's biting the dust there. Let's just see what this is. Nothing. What was that? Roll Decree. Well, I feel kind of nice knowing that's gone. Power increase. Luckily not a force, because that could be game changing at this point. Okay. Which one's my weaker? Probably Black Skull over here. Right, we'll throw that down and let's see what this is. No! Well, that's what could have happened last episode, except it would have been my Great Mammoth of Gold Fine. But I think that's game at the same time. Very unfortunate. I'm gonna have to double check this deck and see just how balanced it is. I've got a feeling I might be a little unbalanced, which is really weird. Unless the AI just isn't programmed to summon certain cards, or they don't summon them until certain points. But it's very weird that it didn't behave the way I thought it was going to behave, considering that this is the big old baddie card guardian that gets summoned at the very end of the game, when you have all the rose cards for your respective side. And I always thought that Skull Knight was the more scarier one, and the Chakra card guardian was a bit of a pushover at times. I'll do it one more time, but unless the SP recharge gets ignored because it's AI, that could be another potential thing as well. Although he was summoning out some pretty big monsters there, I guess. But it's still very interesting. We'll do one more round. Best of 3, I guess. And then we'll call it quits at that point. And I'll go through and I'll show off what my deck was. And as I said, it's not the perfect deck. Definitely could have had some improvements, but... Oh, well, I did get 2 Solomon's Law Book. So 2 potential redraws there, or 2 mulligans. 1. No. 2. Please, with the heart of the card on top, please. Typhoon. Well, I did get 2 trap cards, I guess. Right, let's see what he's got. Probably a spell card at that point. Mountain, nice. So let's move. It could be Roll Decree that he just put down too. Right, throw that. mountains up. Move that up slightly. Now let's see what he does. Oh god! Oh god! Help! How much attack has that got? 4,000? 3,000? Oh dear. That starts with 28 to give you an idea. How much does Shadow Spell knock it off? 1,000. So that had 5,100 attack. I still didn't get what I'm looking for, and my acid trap hole doesn't do anything either, by the way. Oh dear. Oh, I'll throw that up. I have like 3 turns to try and draw something that will help. Otherwise that metal black dragon is going to absolutely run me over with a steamroller. Shadow spell, nice. Well, I can potentially make it now that that red eyes black metal dragon ain't getting anywhere. I rip! What just went rip? My acid, what? Oh no! I need a monster now. This probably isn't going to be enough. 4,000. I think I know what that monster is. I need a shadow spell to activate now. Well, force will only, well, if he does use another force, which I think he's got 3 of. No, don't do that. No, no, no. I didn't notice there was another card there. Ah, I'm dead. Oh god, I'm dead. Well, now we're on intense mode. Rip? GG? What else do you want me to say? I'm dead. As soon as the acid trap hole was removed, I knew straight away what card it was. So I was like, I know what card that is, and I think it's the only card that bypasses 4,000. I thought for a second my game froze there. It just froze from this sheer amount of shock of going up against a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Unfortunately, I think I had a couple of cards still left in my hand, which I couldn't use. I just needed 2 more power-ups to have a chance of going up against that. So I'm down to my last 1,000, and the Red Eyes Metal Dragon just went a lot. Oh, there was the last couple of cards I needed. Yeah, the fact that my shadow spell popped up with another monster is what made that a ripperoni. Yeah, that's game. Right, well, the AI worked this time. I think it just comes down to just sheer luck, I think, at points. Just whether or not they draw the right cards, or I didn't put 3 of Blue Eyes Ultimate. I may have only put 1 in the deck, which is why I've only seen 1. Metal Dragon just never stood a ghost of a chance there. He's smiling away and wish he was captured by the Dragon Capture Jar. Just wish he never met that fate. Right, rip. Rip, 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 rip. That's a rip 3 times over. Yeah, there's not much I can do here. Except Acid Troll. Acid Troll. I can do that, but that's about it. I have no monsters on the field. My last card is my... Oh, it's still bypassed. I'm dead. There's nothing I could do. I'm a ripped in well, not even paradise. So I've been sent to the Shadow Realm. Oh, and that was my last opportunity to have a chance of winning. That's game. $5 whopping 1,000 damage. You don't see that every day. Alright, well, the AI just brought out the brutality there. Yeah, unfortunately my red eyes do get promoted, but because I don't save, that doesn't count. Anyways, now with that, we'll exit out. And hope the capture card doesn't die in the process, which it probably will, because it doesn't like doing this. And then we'll load up memory card 1. And we'll have a quick squeeze at the actual Red Eyes deck. And what was in it? So yeah, this was the Red Eyes deck. We've got 2 Komori Dragons and 2 Typhoons number 2. That just allowed me to fuse into Red Eyes Black Dragon if they actually obviously popped up in my hand, which was very hard. Obviously 3 base Red Eyes Black Dragons. And then we've got 3 Meteor Dragons, which I probably could have boosted down to 2. But then again, if I did that, then I might not be drawing as many monsters. Summon Skull times 3. Now were my only monsters. As I said, I was focusing on the Red Eyes only. What I could have done though was if I gone to AP Sort. Oops, I'm already on Type Sort. And then done, obviously, base Meteor Black Dragon and a base Black Skull Dragon. And the last one being a little bit down is Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon as their base cards. I could have done that as well, but I thought that might be kind of cheaty and made it a little bit too easy, so I do kind of want to challenge it a little bit, so I didn't do that. And then the rest of my deck was 2 Mountains, 3 Solomon's Law Book for a reroll chance there as well. Mountain, obviously, for field advantage. Dark Energies for boosting up the Red Eyes Black Dragon, Red Eyes Black Skull Dragon. I don't think Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon had that potential. Let's have a quick squiz. I don't think it did. No, it did take Dark Energy. Sometimes it's a little bit weird, as I said. Bloody Red Eyes Black... Meteor Black Dragon didn't take... who was it that didn't take... No, it was like Red Eyes Metal Dragon that didn't take it, but even though there's dragon in its name. Horn of the Unicorn for Red Eyes Black Skull Dragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Dragon Treasures for all of them except for Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, Megamorph for all of the dragons, because it increases every monster by 300, Nails of Bane for Red Eyes Black Skull Dragon, or Black Skull Dragon and Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon as well, Metal Morph to make Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, and then I traps to a Shadow Spell as a trap hole, and that was it. As I said, I could have done a lot more with my traps, but I didn't want to make the challenge a little too easy. I did kind of want to go a little bit all out. The other thing I could have done too with this deck, if I wanted to kind of help it out but not make it overpowered, is if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, which is really hard when you have every card in the game. It is one downside to that. One thing I could have done was obviously, as I said, Monster Reborn was an option. So, which is all the way up here. Obviously I could have done some life point recovery as well. Where is it? Dark Hole could have been an option with White Hole if I could have done that route. Monster Reborn's just up here, so Monster Reborn could have been an option to get back some Red Eyes if I was really desperate. And the other option I could have done, probably just got out of my head just then since this took so long. No, it's still in my head. Was Curse Breaker, which I think is somewhere around here in the power-ups. But it's not really a power-up. No, it's further down. Curse Breaker could have been the last thing I could have done, which was used in the playthrough, which negates any boost or decreases or even spellbounds that you have or the opponent has. It works on both people. There we go, Curse Breaker. Cancels all spellbound and power increase, decrease effects. Does not cancel any boost effects involving strain and leader abilities. So that could have gotten in the deck if I really wanted to help out and make it so I wasn't so on the edge. And I think other than that, I think that was kind of it. I could have done, Spellbounding Circle, which kind of similar to that of Shadow Spell, but it only does 600 drop and attack. Mesbrick Control could have been another one, drops by 800, but only 1 turn of Spellbound. Tears of a Mermaid could have been another one, again only 1 turn of Spellbound and 600 drop. Infinite Dismissal could have been another one, 3 turns of Spellbound but no drop. Or Gravity Bind drops by 1500, but they're permanently Spellbound, so that could have been a couple of other things I could have done. Obviously, going down even further, there's Invisible Wire, Acid Trap Hole. As I said, I needed something to kind of remove a lot of threats. I kind of stay away from Widespread Ruin and a couple of other those cards because they do destroy monsters in a 3x3 space, so that could involve my own cards as well. And other than that, I think that's kind of it. I mean, as I said, we could go down further and do Shadow of Eyes, Gorgon's Eyes, could have done Magic Dam or even, no, not really Magic Dam. Spells weren't really an issue except for Life Point Recovery. Royal Decree, not really a big fan of unless I'm not running any trap cards. Mirror Force could have been an option. Mirror Wall could have been an option. Negate Attack could have been an option. You know, all those usual suspects. But other than that, that's pretty much the deck. And I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode for the custom duels with the Red Eyes Black Dragon as the first one. So as I said, members get to choose what cards or what they want to see in the future. And if you want to discuss this and any potential, there is a Discord channel you can go and have a look and chat on. There is one made for this series as well, so you can talk about stuff there and suggest ways of like improving the deck at this point, so ways of improving the Red Eyes deck, so on and so forth. So I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about the series in the comment section below. And with that, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, and I really hope I explained everything. If not, and I'll leave a pinned comment down below explaining what I didn't wrap up or whatnot, or if there's any other further questions. Make sure to stay beautiful to everyone else as well. Ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao!